After a very long drive, I finally made it to Orania to do a follow-up of my last documentary, and this time, I've brought a very special friend.
What he means is he brought a very special black friend.
This is Siv Ngesi. He's an actor, comedian, TV personality, and today, my partner in exploring one of South Africa's most controversial communities, Orania.
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 Why is everyone so obsessed with Orania?
People are curious about the unknown, and Orania is one of those unknowns.
For those who haven't seen my last documentary, here's a quick recap. Orania is a self-declared Afrikaner-only town, founded in 1991, with a population of nearly 3,000 and growing fast. They have their own government, currency, flag, and schools. To live there, you have to be a white Afrikaner, uphold Calvinist Christian values, and have a clean criminal record. Recently, Orania and the broader Afrikaner community have been in the news because of South Africa's new Expropriation Act, which allows land seizures without compensation.
Terrible things are happening in South Africa. They're taking away land, they're confiscating land.
In response, US President Donald Trump signed an executive order cutting aid to South Africa and offering refugee status to Afrikaners, saying they're facing racial discrimination. But more on that later. The last time I was here, I focused on understanding Orania's way of life without pushing too hard. But this time, with Siv by my side, we're not holding back.
Are black people allowed in Orania? If you had a daughter, would you let your daughter marry a black person? Do you see me as an equal to you?
We're here to ask the hard questions, challenge the community's beliefs, and finally address a question everyone has been asking.
Did you hear about the one person who voted for EFF in Orania? There was one guy.
More importantly, I'm here to document Siv's experience as a black man in a town of nearly 3,000 white people. We are just outside the gates of Orania, and I am sitting here with Siv Ngesi. I wanted to know from you, what are you expecting Orania to be like?
Crazy. Something I've never ever seen before. I've seen videos, but I don't think the videos can give it justice. But I definitely am expecting something backwards. Backwards in thought, backwards in how it looks. But I know I'll be disproved. You know what I mean?
So this is Orania.
It just greeted me. Everyone's waving. Everyone is waving. Okay, that's confusing.
Are you nervous to go there and be the only black person in Orania?
Nervous is not the word. I think uncomfortable. But everyone has been telling me, stay safe, stay safe. I'm not scared at all. I've been in crazy places before, so I don't feel unsafe. But I feel it's going to be different and uncomfortable. And I love uncomfortable. It looks more modern than I thought it would look, but it looks very Afrikaans. Big cars, Orania flag, doors are just open, no gates. There is a statue of Hendrik Verwoerd, the architect of apartheid. Okay, there's kids. Kids are just walking around. They're kids just walking around. So it's definitely as safe as people think it is. Bicycles is hanging up, not locked. It feels different. It really does feel different. You can feel that this is not, it's South Africa, but not South Africa. Did you tell them I'm black?
Hi, we've just arrived.
Are you the guests for the three sleeper?
Yes.
Joshua?
Yes, that's it. After checking in, we took a short walk to the Orange River, which is just a few minutes from where we were staying. We went for a swim to cool off before heading out for dinner. Later, we drove up to Orania's highest point to watch the storm roll in after an unbearably hot day. So what are you thinking of Orania so far?
It's a mind wobble.
After a very long day, we headed home to get some rest. The next morning, we made our way back into town for a tour with Joost Strydom, who is the CEO of Orania. He's also the same person who showed me around last time and a very important member of this community.
So what are you looking to? What is your your expectations? What are you looking to achieve?
My Afrikaans friends were like, you have to go, you have to see it. It's not what you imagine. Just go see it, go there with an open mind. Then the other people who don't know anything about it have gone, keep safe, oh my goodness, what if you die? And send us your live location.
Yeah, and you are here basically to see which one of those groups were right.
Orania's got two histories.
history of the place, which we can go back many years, but the town itself has got a history, and then the idea has got a history, right? So that's a very important thing to always understand about Orania. It's a space, it's a place, it's also an idea.
The idea behind Orania is simple. Afrikaners should have their own homeland, a place where they can govern themselves, preserve their culture, and ensure economic self-sufficiency without relying on outside influences.
So who owns the land?
Right, so Orania, the original town, was bought by a group of people who donated money to the effort, and it's this owned by a company. So Orania is private land, but Orania is one of the only systems in the country that I know, maybe the Ingonyama Trust is the same way. It's a combination between private and public in the same system, and that makes Orania very unique.
This cannot be what I think it is.
This is barren Karoo, my friend, and this is changed into a runway, and we hope to change it into a proper airport, but obviously it's expensive to do. So one of the ways that we get investment here is to subdivide it, to install proper plots so people can buy houses, and so that they can build and create wealth in that fashion, and that will help fund tarring this runway so that we can get proper flights here. And yes, next time you can fly in here, but you have to do your commercial license first.
So I didn't have to drive 10 hours.
We're gonna make it easy.
Yeah. There's a lot of construction here, right? Like everything, there's building everywhere. And how do you guys have enough labor, like manpower, to be able to do it?
Orania grows very fast. We have an annual growth rate of between 12 and 15% for the last 5 years in population, and that's mostly people moving to Orania. One of the reasons why we focus so much on training people as masons, as engineers, as plumbers, as electricians, is because we need their labor. We need to grow our town even more. So labor is of immense importance. It's Afrikaners building for Afrikaners. And if we one day have a proper city, we'll plan is to grow from town to city. If we have a city, we can look back and say, well, we did it ourselves. We didn't misuse anyone. It's no one else built our future for us. We built it.
Good to see you guys. Siv, nice to meet you guys. Guys, I want to play some touchies. Play some touchies. Let's play some touchies. Yeah, I'm ready.
For our international viewers, when Siv refers to touchies, he's talking about rugby, which is one of South Africa's most popular sports, and of course, our team is the best in the world. Siv is also good friends with many of the Springbok players.
Do people support the Springboks?
Yes. Well, there's I think mixed.
What?
Mixed reactions to that.
What do you mean?
So during the World Cup, we will find a lot of very enthusiastic World Cup viewers, and you will also have some people that's critical.
Rugby holds deep cultural significance for many Afrikaners in South Africa, and in Orania, some passionately support the Springboks, but others are more hesitant, not because they dislike the team, but because they feel disconnected from modern South Africa. They believe national symbols like the Springboks help hold the country together and serve as a distraction from the failings of the ANC government. For them, supporting these symbols feels like reinforcing a system they no longer fully identify with. Still, when the World Cup was on, people in Orania gathered to watch, proving that despite political differences, sport remains a powerful unifier.
So we're up here on Monument Hill. We have monuments representing the future and representing the past. From this half circle, none of the monuments here was bought by us, none of it was made by us. They were either donated or in more cases thrown away somewhere else, rejected. They are fugitives here.
One of the most controversial aspects of Orania is their display of monuments honoring historical figures from the apartheid era. Among them stands Hendrik Verwoerd, a key figure during apartheid and the country's prime minister at the time, whose legacy continues to spark deep division and debate.
I was taught from a very young age to absolutely hate this man, to despise him. He's made, like, even looking at his face, I was just taught to dislike him, right? Do you not think having people like him and their monuments here is spitting in people's faces of people who died, people who were marginalized for many years? I know people's past is important, but isn't that not disrespectful to many who have died because of him and marginalized?
I'm going to answer you with a counter question, and that is the fact that we fought many wars against the Zulus. What about Shaka Zulu, celebrating him? Is that fine for the Zulus or Dingaan? So it's part of their history. And even though we had massive wars in the Great Trek, I grant them their right to celebrate the people of their past. And all the same, I think Afrikaners have the right to have a statue of someone from our past. And internally, in our nation, in our people, decide how we interpret that.
In 1991, a group of Afrikaners led by Professor Karel Boshoff, son-in-law of former Prime Minister Hendrik Verwoerd, founded Orania in South Africa. They legally purchased land on the banks of the Orange River, ensuring full ownership and control. While Orania operates within South African law and relies on the country for certain resources, it aims to become more self-sufficient in the future. Today, leadership has passed to Karel Boshoff IV, the founder's son, who we will be interviewing later in this video.
You only have 3,000 people here. When this place gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it'll be harder to maintain and live a lifestyle like this. What are you going to do when this place gets so big and it'll be harder to reach everyone and help everyone?
That will be our test. And I cannot say if we will pass our test or fail our test, but we will do everything in our ability to pass that test. Orania was not created to be a safe haven for 3,000 people to run away and live in isolation and forget about the world. It was created as a growth point for Afrikaner freedom. So if we can maintain 3,000, it's good. If we can do 10,000, better. If we can do 100,000, that will be our test.
During our tour, we stopped at one of the local colleges, which has become a hub for Afrikaner students from all around the country. We wanted to see what kind of courses they were offering and hopefully have a chat with some of the students.
And nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Carla.
Nice to meet you.
On this moment, we have 8 courses.
Okay, what are they?
Yes, they are the bricklaying, the electrical, the plumbing, farming, and mechanization. We have home-based carers, so there's a 1-year course and a 6-month course. And then we have civil engineer diploma and also early childhood development.
Okay, so things that Oranians need.
Yes, yes.
What's your name?
Marco,
Marco, where are you from?
Rustenburg.
How long have you been in Orania?
Like 3 days.
3 days?
Yes.
Okay, so I see all of you got your hair cut. What happens there?
Yeah, it's the tradition of the first years.
Okay.
They cut our hair so everybody in the town can know we are first years.
So what do you love the most about Orania?
I will say the hostels.
The hostels?
Yes.
Is it lekker?
Yeah, it's very lekker.
Do you play any sport?
Rugby,
Is it? What position?
flank.
Kom, ons moet speel, man. Ons moet speel. I'm a flank. Okay, who's your favorite rugby player?
Pieter Steef de Tooi.
Peter Steef. Second? Who's the other second?
I will say Eben.
Eben Expropriation.
Yes.
Away Eben, Peter Steef. Check here. First year. Baie goed. Everyone calls Orania racist. Are they racist in Orania?
Sure they are.
I like how you're so honest about that.
But I think the Orania idea is not inherently racist. I think it is the right of a people to want to strive towards preserving their culture and their ways of life and their religion and who we are. I think we are a nation, a unique nation. The fact that we are white is maybe one part of what we are, but it's not the whole picture. We have a specific, distinctive culture, and that's what we want to protect.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you. How's your day? Thank you. Yes, please, ma'am. If someone is outrageously racist here, with a Hitler flag on their wall, would you guys say nothing to that?
I think what we would say is, if that is the sentiment you come here, you maybe misunderstand the Orania idea. There have been people in the past who removed themselves from the community because they had fringe, very extremist religious beliefs, very extremist political beliefs, and they didn't feel comfortable, so they left.
So you can be kicked out of Orania for being too hectically racist or too hectically
or just
militant.
To be stupid, to put the Orania idea at risk, to put our future at risk. But I think it can happen, but I think what is more the case is people who are so extremist that they are lost all sense of reality just leave Orania voluntarily because they see what we are doing here is not necessarily what they believe to be the truth.
Okay. Because I'm used to black labor, because technically this shouldn't be anything amazing. It should be just people working to build their own flipping livelihoods. But in South Africa, you only see black people doing this work. So this looks a bit weird. But it shouldn't be weird, huh? You know what I mean? It's baie warm, hè?
Ek sien jou.
It's baie warm. What is happening here?
So right now we are busy getting practical exercise for our building and construction.
Okay. Where are you from?
Originally
Yeah.
from Nelspruit,
And how long you been in Orania?
since last year.
And how are you enjoying it?
It's very nice. The amount of experience I've got here, it's amazing, man.
And why did you come here? You could have gone anywhere.
So let me tell you something. I'm just going to give you a bit of background.
Please.
2023, I qualified as a diesel mech.
Okay. What's
So-
that? It's a diesel mechanic.
Yeah, diesel mechanic.
Okay.
So we searched on the internet and we saw, this is now a college where we can really get exposed to a lot of practical and theoretical.
Okay.
And at that time, at that place, that was like the best option we
Okay.
physically could get on.
Okay.
It's really nice to be around my culture as well and just to be between my people.
Yeah, you look like you'll be a lekker rugby player. What position?
I used to play flank.
Me too. Everyone's a flank here.
Recently, the Afrikaner community has been in the spotlight due to claims made by US President Donald Trump that South Africa is experiencing widespread violence and discrimination against the Afrikaner population. He pointed to a controversial expropriation bill that allows land to be taken without compensation. South African officials have denied these claims, stating that the situation has been misunderstood and that the expropriation bill is only meant to be used under very specific circumstances. However, many Afrikaner farmers feel disproportionately affected by violent attacks, with reports of brutal assaults that include threatening symbols and messages. This has been further fueled by South African political figures like Julius Malema, who has faced criticism for his kill the Boer rhetoric, which many see as inciting violence against Afrikaners. This issue continues to be a contentious topic in South Africa's ongoing debate over land reform and racial tensions.
So Cyril signed the Land Expropriation Without Compensation Act recently. So if I want a piece of this place, can I get a piece of Orania? Or
Definitely not going to expropriate it without compensation. We in the strongest terms condemn this bill. Firstly, because it's a denial of private property rights. No country can function without the right to private properties. No banks can give loans. It's the potential for a South African disaster is massive. Secondly, the political tool that it is used as to fuel race hate, to pile people up against one another based on what I believe to be totally false claims.
The Afrikaner community is deeply concerned about the expropriation bill because land is at the heart of their identity and livelihood. Afrikaners have long been the backbone of South Africa's agricultural industry, owning vast amounts of farmland. With this new law allowing land to be taken without compensation, many fear losing farms that have been in their families for generations. For them, it's not about property. It's about culture, heritage, and survival. And they're prepared to defend it by any means necessary.
I have a sneaky suspicion there's many guns around here, like there are in Middle America and a lot of Americans. What is your views on guns here? Because I'm sure people here are willing to protect their livelihoods with guns and violence.
Yes, we have a gun culture that stretched back since we came in Africa. We are hunters, we are sport shooters. We have a tradition since the Boer commandos that we are people of the open fields and people who can handle and carry guns. We are pro-gun. I would say in the broad sense you will see a lot of people carrying guns in Orania. It's part of who we are, it's part of our culture. On the one hand, it's also to say we take responsibility for our safety, to construct our own future. We take responsibility. On the one hand because there's no one else, on the other hand because it's our responsibility to look after ourselves.
We just finished our tour with Joost, and Siv has gone back to the house to do some research for our next interview, which is with Karl Boshoff, whose father was the founder of Orania. This has been a very different experience to the first time I was here, because the first time I was in control, I was the one asking all the questions, and that's not what this video is about. This video is about documenting Siv Ngesi's perspective and the way he's gone about asking the questions, the way he's conducted the interviews and his interactions with everyone has been very, very interesting to see. And I think he's been a bit shocked at how people have received him here. Very different, I think, to what he expected. But anyway, let's go for a swim.
Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to take a quick second to thank this week's sponsor, Odoo. If you've been on my channel recently, you've probably heard me sharing one of the easiest ways to build a website for your business. Odoo's website builder is designed to make the process simple and stress-free. You don't need any coding skills or design experience. Just drag and drop and your website starts to come together. But Odoo isn't just a website builder. It's an all-in-one business management platform that connects everything in one place. When you use your mobile phone today, you'll notice you have apps that help you do everything you need. A calculator, a music player, camera, a notepad, and many others. One of the features I really like about Odoo is this modular approach. Just like on your mobile phone, you'll get to choose the apps you need to manage your business on Odoo. Whether you're managing sales, inventory, accounting, or HR, Odoo keeps it all streamlined and easy to use. No more switching between different softwares. It's all right there, working together to make your life easier, just like your mobile phone apps. And here's something great. Your first Odoo app is free forever. You can literally choose any one app and get started for free. Starting with a website also includes hosting, support, and even a free domain for your first year. No hidden costs, just a simple solution to get your business online and running smoothly. So if you've been putting off building your website and getting your business systems in order, I've got a link for you in my description so you can get started for free, or you can book a meeting with an Odoo expert and they'll help you through the process. Trust me, this will make your life so much easier and give you more time to focus on what really matters. But thank you so much, Odoo. Let's get back to the video.
Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. Hoe gaan dit? Precies, sir. Nice to meet you, sir.
Please introduce yourself, your position, your name, your family heritage.
I am Karel Boshoff. I've been living in Orania full-time since 1997. I've been involved with the Orania movement from the early days.
I would be robbing myself if I didn't ask you, who are you related to? Because someone's very special you're related to.
Well, my father was Professor Karel Boshoff, a missionary first and then a theologian, academic theologian. And my mother was Anna Verwoerd. Her father was Hendrik Verwoerd. The Hendrik Verwoerd, if you would like, yeah. So I grew up with Dr. Verwoerd being my grandfather, being a close relation and, you know, offering a very unique angle on that difficult part of history.
What do you love the most about Orania?
Wow, the adventure of it. We are really, in a sense, you know, making history, doing things, establishing a new society, building new infrastructure, physically speaking, but also institutions, establishing a new kind of life. We are in 2025. We are challenged by the questions of globalism at this very point. We are not answering the questions of 1948 or 45 or whatever. We are addressing the issues of 2025, and that is a wonderful adventure, to be at a place where you are so on top of it, so at the coal face of doing new things.
One of the most interesting things about Orania is that while it's part of South Africa, it operates with a significant degree of self-governance. The town is privately owned, and the residents elect their own officials who make decisions on matters like infrastructure, security, and local laws, rather than being governed by the state. Technically, people in Orania can vote in South Africa's elections, but most don't. They prefer to focus on their own local governance and handle things independently. For the people of Orania, this self-governance is incredibly important because it means they actually have a say in how their community is being run and what happens within it. Whereas in the rest of South Africa, it can sometimes feel like no matter what you say or do, nothing ever really changes.
Look forward in 20 years, where would you want Orania to be?
A medium-sized city, where all the different specialized professions and so on are operating, where there are publishing houses and theaters and newspapers and universities and all these kinds of things. If Orania could be that, it will be the essence and the focus of Afrikaner cultural life into the 22nd century as well.
Another intriguing aspect of Orania is its unique financial system. The town operates its own bank, which is the largest cooperative bank in South Africa. Orania has also introduced its own currency, the Ora. While not an official currency, the Ora functions as a local coupon system, with 1 Ora being equal to 1 Rand. This system encourages local spending and fosters a sense of community identity.
So do you think Orania is misunderstood by people in South Africa and overseas?
I think it's mostly misunderstood in South Africa very often. because it is associated with previous kinds of policies of apartheid and all those things. And whenever for the patterns of living in South Africa, people come around and see white people doing menial work in Orania, they think, wow, what's going on? Is this a special kind of racism or whatever? Whilst at the meantime, this is an answer to apartheid, a rejection of the kind of racist expectations that was fed in that era.
Let's simplify it down to questions that I know everyone wants to hear. Are black people allowed in Orania?
Yes, there's no race criterion to access to Orania. At the same time, while the answer is yes, Orania is also a focused Afrikaner community. And there's a very spontaneous reason why for 30 years black people haven't come to live in Orania. They are just historically not Afrikaners. They are not interested in the same things. They're not happy about the same things. And they don't participate in this cultural community, as there are very, very few, if any, white people in rural isiXhosa or isiZulu communities, which are all over South Africa. So by saying yes, I'm obviously saying something unexpected, because the reality has much more dimensions than just this one dimension that is locked in that question.
So we agree that being Afrikaner is not just your race, right?
Absolutely.
So if you and your wife had adopted a black child and you raised this black child as an Afrikaner from eendag until he's 21, technically is that kid not Afrikaans? Because you speak about culture.
Yeah.
Culturally, he should be Afrikaans. Would he be welcome into the town?
Hypothetically, it is exactly true, and hypothetically, yes. But we need to address that question when we meet it concretely. Okay. So the reality is the test. What we are doing is not defining the exclusion.
Okay.
We are defining the inclusion. We are defining those matters that attract people to Orania. There's nowhere in our statute something that says because, or if you are black, or if you are Muslim, or if you are this or that. We have been sort of defined quite clearly. The perception is that we try to keep other people out. Wow, can we not address that perception?
You try to bring people in.
We try to yeah, exactly.
Okay. If you had a daughter, would you let your daughter marry a black person?
I have a daughter. If she wants to, that's not the kind of things that one can prescribe. We'll see. I experienced marriage as a challenge. Even within my own culture, I think it's difficult to have a multicultural marriage, but there are people who do it, that love it, that is successful. That's great.
Yes or no?
I cannot reject it.
Okay. Do you dislike racists?
Yes, I do. I associate with a more open approach. I respect people. I don't like when other people don't respect people above, over the whole spectrum of who they are. And in fact, I'm interested. I'm always liking to get behind the thinking of other people, other cultures, other continents, other places.
Do you see me as an equal to you?
You know, I don't know you, but I believe so, yes. And in principle, definitely. Okay. In principle, as human being before God, there's no question.
As we were wrapping up and getting ready to leave Karl Boshoff's office, we realized there was one important question we had forgotten to ask. So just before we walked out, Siv turned to him and asked,
as an Afrikaans person, do you consider yourself African?
Yes, definitely, and always have. This is our home. This is where we as a people was born. Not as individuals alone, but as a people. We don't come from Europe or anywhere else as a people. As a people, we are part of what grew out of Africa, and that's where we got our name from.
How do you feel when people tell you to go home?
No, I'm home. How should I feel? We're here. This is our place.
We came to Orania on a mission to bridge the gap of understanding between people from completely different backgrounds that share the same home. and I think we've succeeded in that. But there was one other, far more pressing question we still needed to answer. You see, during South Africa's last elections, one resident of Orania cast a vote for the EFF, led by Julius Malema. And this whole time, we've been secretly on a mission to find him. And I think we finally cracked the case.
Did you hear about the one person who voted for EFF in Orania? There was one guy.
Yes, like
one person.
Everyone was talking about it.
There was one person that voted for the EFF here, and we're just asking, do you know where they are? Do you know who they are?
No, I don't know who they are or where they are. We just think that people just wanted to make like a big thing out of it, just to like get attention. I think so, but I don't know.
Do you know who it was?
I don't know who it was, no.
Do you have any suspicion?
No.
But what are the chances of anyone voting for EFF here?
My conspiracy theory is like, I don't know, I think it's someone that voted EFF to like, I don't know, just cause more problems. I don't know.
One person voted for EFF in this whole Orania.
I don't know.
We're looking for him.
Okay.
Have you heard about him?
No, I've heard about the story, but I don't know where he is.
Okay, we're going to find him. We're going to find him.
100%.
Thank you, Vincent. Have you found the person who voted for EFF?
From our side, we definitely did not try to find that person. It's his privilege.
Yes, it's true. He's allowed to vote for EFF.
Yes, he can vote what he wants.
I cannot come to Orania without asking this question. I cannot. There was one person in Orania who voted EFF. Do we know who that person is?
Yes.
Do you know who it is?
Yes.
Huh?
No.
Do you?
That was me.
No, you're lying.
I'm an accelerationist. I want things to get going.
Okay, there was a person who voted for EFF. Do they know who it is?
No, but we have a pretty good guess who it probably is.
Was it a joke?
It was not a joke, as far as I know. It was most probably people from outside Orania who comes to this polling station in Orania. Probably farms surrounding Orania. Some of the workers come and vote here, and that was probably what it was.
Now that we solved that mystery, it was finally time to leave Orania.
We've just left Orania, and Siv, I want to know, was it what you expected it to be?
No way. It was a conundrum. It was confusing, many positives, but I think there was a feeling that didn't feel right. And I think that's just the lack of diversity. I think they have everything, the growth, the ethics, the safety, but they just lack diversity and like an open-mindedness to others. It's just our way or the highway. But they have every right to do that. It's their place.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to learn more about Orania, you can check out the documentary I made the last time I was there.